What's going on, everyone? So there's a lot of talk kind of centered around Sidney Prescott having kind of a mental break in the upcoming Scream 7. Now, again, everything, take it with a grain of salt. Everything is just rumor until we actually know the truth. It's relayed or the movie comes out, we find out. But the idea of Sidney kind of having these mental struggles and doubts and however they approach that, I don't think is a far-fetched manner. It's something that they've always wanted to heavily explore. I mean, even Scream 3, the plan was to really dive into Sydney and her mental state and just the issues she had going on in her mental. But because of scheduling conflicts, they weren't able to dive into that to the degree in which they wanted to. Now, you still saw that, with the hallucinations and kind of grasp on reality and her just kind of being a recluse in the middle of nowhere. But you saw in Scream 4 her reemergence, right? No more hiding. Now I'm out of the shadows, out of the darkness, doing a book tour, doing all this stuff. Ghostface comes back. She doesn't go and run and go in a heist. She stays, takes down Ghostface. Then, Scream 5, she shows up. But even in Scream 5, she's running and, getting a jog in before she's got to take the kids to school. She's not hiding. She's not, now we don't know if she's operating as Sidney Prescott, right? Now, Dewey refers to her as Sid, but he also did in Scream 3. And when her name was, Laurel, right? So, again, we don't know. Maybe she's not Sidney Prescott. Maybe she's, whatever, Michaela or something. I don't know. Just whatever name, right? So we don't know to what extent is she still dealing with the struggles. But from 4 and 5, the whole point was that she is just this different version, right? So to me, something significant would have to happen in order for her to kind of reset back to a version of Scream 3, right? Because again, she's overcome all of that. Even in Scream 5, you saw that. Her on board, shooting through the doors, right? She showed up. Ghostface wasn't after her. Ghostface wasn't trying to target her. She could have went and stayed and hid and not came out, right? Scream 3, she kind of had no choice, right? Ghostface found her. But in this case, Ghostface wasn't after her. Now, she may have thought that maybe eventually Ghostface would have found its way to her, but still, she came to him, took the fight to him, and her, right? Because Amber, the two of them, in hindsight, we know now. But Ghostface in general, right? She went and took the fight to Ghostface. And that is something that shows the growth and progress. So, to me, I've talked about how, Mark Kincaid, again, based on rumors, so take it with a grain of salt, but based on rumors that Mark Kincaid is going to have a very small role in Scream 7. Now, this is something that they've tried to do basically since Scream 3, get Patrick Dempsey back as Mark Kincaid, and they've been unable to do so. And so with that, it kind of okay, well, now you finally or potentially have him back. We still don't know for sure, but let's go into the assumption that he does come back, right? Why is it on such a limited role? Is it scheduling? Is it whatever, right? Or is it that he dies? And that's what sends Sydney down the rabbit hole, right? The other side of that would be one of her children, right? One of her children dies. And, again, this is a horror franchise, and they could make Sydney's kids, basically outside of the one in the stroller, they can make Sydney's kids whatever age they want or need to make it fit the story, right? So, I mean, she could have daughters as old as 20, 24, right? She could have a son. She could have they can do whatever they want with the kids side of things because we don't know when she actually had them, right? And if you're going back to Scream 3, that was in 2000. By the time this movie comes out, you're talking 25 years from that. So you're talking about a time that, again, she could have had kids, say, 2 years later. I mean, her oldest could be 23. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind when you're talking about that. But would they really go that route of killing one of Sydney's kids? I don't know. I don't doubt that they would kill Kincaid. But one of her children, that I don't know if they would do that. So it begs the question of okay, well then, let's say that they don't kill Kincaid. Let's say that they don't kill one of her kids. What would have her just have that mental break, assuming that she actually does have one? Now, could it be just that, the realization of Ghostface is never going to stop. Right? Her kids are in trouble. My husband's in trouble again. And it's all because of me. You know, like, and then those doubts start sleeping in. Maybe she's like, what happens if I just let Ghostface get me? What if I just let Ghostface, take me out? Like, is that something that now Ghostface stops? Right? And you can maybe kind of structure it in a way to where, Sidney's, her mental break comes down because of the realization of, not like now my children are in jail. How long is it going to be, even if I do survive this, even if all my children do survive this, how long is it going to be before another Ghostface comes? How long is it going to be before my children are in jeopardy again? Right? Are my children going to be just, going to the store one day or something and a Ghostface takes them out? Like, as a parent, you start coming to the realization of like, my children are never going to be safe. Right? I'm never going to be able to keep them safe. Eventually I'm going to get old. Eventually I'm going to, and it's just, eventually a Ghostface is going to just catch me off guard and get me, right? Like, it's just, there's a lot of things that I think you could kind of play into if you were to kind of go with that direction, that premise of like, it's not, maybe somebody didn't die yet, but it's more so just the realization and understanding of like, this is never going to end. Whether I hide, whether I'm out in public, no matter what I do, Ghostface is always going to haunt me and thus are going to haunt my family. They're always going to haunt me and they're always going to, like, my children are never going to have a normal life because they're always going to have to worry about Ghostface. And now Ghostface is bleeding into my family rather than it's just me, right? Like, it's just, I think that could be a really interesting storyline. I think that's something that you could kind of really play on and kind of show her struggles of just like, like I said, contemplating like, do I just let Ghostface take me? No, do I just give Ghostface what they want? Then maybe they'll stop chasing. Right? Maybe they'll stop coming after. Maybe they won't go after my family. Maybe I can make some arrangements so that way that Ghostface can be heralded as like the one that got Sidney. Right? Like you could do some fun, interesting things, in my opinion. But, I mean, look, like I said, at the end of the day, this is a horror franchise. At the end of the day, it's a slasher film. At the end of the day, I know a lot of people want Sidney to have this happy ending and all that stuff. If you really wanted Sidney to have this happy ending, you never would have brought her back, right? You never would have, like, you can't keep having her in these horror films and expect her to have a happy ending. At some point, just through probability even, right? If we're keeping it realistic and within realism, at some point, Sidney's going to meet her end. And, I mean, even if they don't ever kill her off, right? It's just, again, how can she truly have a happy ending when she's constantly being attacked by Ghostface? Like, people, if she doesn't directly die, people around her are going to, right? Just by default. Because, again, it's a horror movie. You can't, like, I don't want any more Scream 6s where everyone lives, right? Like, even people that did want certain characters to live were like, yeah, they should have killed Chad. Like, I really wanted Chad to live, but they should have killed him, right? Or I really wanted Gail to live, but they should have killed her, right? Like, it's just, because again, it's just like, this is a horror franchise. This isn't a love story. This isn't a comedy. This isn't a rom-com. This isn't a drama. This is a slasher horror franchise in which people die. I mean, people make entire videos and breakdowns and that get hundreds of thousands, millions of views on kill counts. Why? Because, again, it's a horror franchise. People are supposed to die. So, I don't know. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Ghostface not necessarily killing anyone significant, but rather just like the thought and the idea of like, man, like, I'm never going to escape Ghostface. I'm never going to get out of this. And that's kind of her mental break. Do you prefer, Kincaid died or one of the kids or whatever? Do you think like that's the route that they should take? No, supposedly, again, take it with a grain of salt. Just want to make that clear. But supposedly, it's there's supposed to be a significant death that really kind of sets the standard for this upcoming Scream film. It's supposed to be the scariest Scream film yet. And, no one's safe type thing. Like, there's supposed to be a kill that does that. And I just think Mark Kincaid could very well be that kill. I just think it makes the most sense. Kill him to open the film. That really sets the tone and standard of like, wow, like anyone can die. That or one of the kids. Like I said, if they take out one of Sidney's kids, that's about as good as it gets of like, hey, no one is safe. No one. Right? Because you kill Gale, like we saw, they killed Dewey, and it was like, nope, right back to where we were before, right? Like, where they could do that, and it's kind of like, ugh. Like, man, they aren't playing around. But, again, I already feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.